This is my review of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, at the start of the movie, we see a bunch of scientists trying to resurrect an ancient titan that was buried in a block of snow in the Arctic or Antarctic, I'm not sure which one. Yeah, you see just glimpses of its body, you see its head somewhat, and then there's also another titan that seems to be in a cocoon, which is not frozen at all, but seems to be motionless, and they're trying to wake it up somehow. And you also see the backstory of a family who lost a child in the first Godzilla movie because of Godzilla rampaging through a city. And the mother of the child seems to be a scientist that's trying to resurrect the titan that's in the block of snow. So yeah, and you see Godzilla going towards that block of snow because it senses that there's an alpha titan that's an enemy there. So the another group of scientists decided to follow Godzilla. Now this group has been tracking Godzilla for a while, and then the titan ends up being woken up by breaking the ice, and out comes King Ghidorah, a titan that has 3 heads, has a body like a dragon, and it can regenerate and breathe lightning energy. Now, when King Ghidorah wakes up and starts moving, Godzilla shows up to fight it, and in a shocking twist, Godzilla gets easily outclassed because King Ghidorah is much bigger than Godzilla. It's got 3 heads, it's also got energy, so Godzilla can't really do much against it, and Godzilla gets beaten to the ground, and they end up having a huge fight, which is a bit one-sided. And seeing this and what a huge threat this is, the military decides to drop a nuclear weapon on both of them while they're fighting, because they think it's the only way to stop them. And then the bomb goes off, and you see Godzilla sinking to the ground, and we think he's dead, but King Ghidorah just flies off without any issues at all. So and then King Ghidorah starts creating an electric storm, and that causes weather phenomena, and he wakes up all the titans that were in the different facilities, and he commands them to come towards him because he's the new alpha titan. And seeing this and what's going to happen, it seems like the planet's going to get destroyed because this alpha titan. And the other group of scientists decide to try and find Godzilla, see if he's alive. I mean, they try to wake him up. Try to wake him up by giving him another nuclear charge because he's injured. And then Godzilla wakes up, and he goes and fights the King Ghidorah for a second time. Now this time he has a lot of help. The entire military is on his side. They're not really doing much, but at least they're on his side. But King Ghidorah also has a little help. He has command of a flying titan called Rodan. Its body's made of fire. So it's a 2-on-1 fight. And then all of a sudden Mothra shows up, the titan that was in the cocoon. And Mothra fights Rodan, and King Ghidorah fights Godzilla, and so it's a 2-on-2 battle, and the entire city gets completely wrecked in this fight. But in the end, Mothra gets overpowered by Rodan because Rodan's is a much stronger titan. And before Mothra dies, it scatters its nuclear energy on top of Godzilla, and making Godzilla go nuclear. So yeah, Godzilla's gotten a lot more power now, and then he sends off a nuclear pulse, which disintegrates most of Ghidorah's body, and he can't regenerate quick enough because of the intensity of the attack. And then he sends off another pulse and destroys his body even more. and then he rips Ghidorah's body apart. He rips his head off. And you see a huge nuclear explosion coming. The entire city getting completely wasted. And in the end, you see Godzilla just standing up and roaring, and all the other titans that were summoned by Ghidorah suddenly show up, and they bend the knee to Godzilla, who they declare as the new Alpha Titan, and hence him becoming the king of the monsters. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that title because, let's face it, one-on-one Godzilla is completely outclassed. The only reason he managed to defeat Ghidorah was because the power he got from the nuclear bomb that the scientists set off to resurrect him, and that power's gone. The nuclear power energy is gone after that, so if they fought again, he wouldn't be able to beat him. But anyway, that's how the story ends. And it was a good, exciting monster movie. A lot of action, a lot of monsters. Much better than the first one, where we barely got to see Godzilla at all. We mostly saw the people running around and talking and doing stuff which no one's here to see. So compared to that, this was a good movie. Now, King Ghidorah getting completely beaten, I don't agree with, but yeah, it's a good movie. And that's my review.